Hello and welcome to the Etoft21sports Show for April 18th. How is everyone doing? My name is Eric. I'm the man behind Etoft21sports. We have a phenomenal show lined up for you today. Josh, the founder / CEO of the Sharps betting app. He's this week's special guest. We're going to talk some future bets. We're going to tell you some NBA bets and maybe some NFL bets to lock in. Plus, my boy Gino's coming on, and Gino's going to tell you what bet to lock in for the Keelan tomorrow. As always, I would like to thank those of you watching on Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch, please hit that follow button. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out greatly. I would like to give a big thank you to the sponsor of the show, the Sharps betting app. If you're not using Sharps and you're betting, you're completely missing out. It's a great bet tracking app. It allows you to interact with other fellow gamblers. You can talk bets, you can fade the bet, you can tail the bet. It's really interactive. It's a great betting app, and if you're not using it, you are completely missing out. If you do go to Sharps, make sure you use promo code ETOF499. That way they know old Uncle Rico sent you. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link to that in my bio. Now, let's jump into the show. Let's see what our boy Gino's got for cooking for us tomorrow at Keelan.
Wednesday, April the 19th. I've got a best bet for you. And keep in mind, we're always looking at drf.com, dailyracingform.com for all of your past performances, all your handicapping needs, DRF bets for all your wagering needs. Eric and I are going to have a nice little affiliate link coming up soon. You can click directly on and play over at DRF bets. For me on Wednesday, let's go to race number 3, and I'm going to move towards the outside in this third race. I'm looking at the number 11, Gormley-esque. Gormley-esque has raced 3 times, and this filly has shown good positional speed in each of those races, and they've all been against a lot tougher. In her debut, she was at Saratoga. She ran into some pretty nice horses in here. A horse like Alluring Angel went right into stakes races. This is a multiple stakes placed runner. So following that race in the career debut, Gormley-esque was off from August all the way to February. Shows back up in February, shows some pretty good early speed again, but she runs into a tough field. There were 3 next out winners in that race, including the winner Sunday Shoes, who came right out of that one to win a stakes race in her next start. So not easy company that this filly has faced in her first 2 starts. And even most recently in her third start, she was showing good speed that day before fading. Now she'll make her third start off the long layoff. She's going to get the chance to drop down in class and face a lower level for the first time in her career. The number 11, Gormley-esque, is 10-1 on the morning line. If we can get anything 6-1 plus, I think that's fair value there on Gormley-esque. Best of luck on your Wednesday play over at Keeneland. Remember, each and every week you'll get some of the best information in all of sports right here with Eric.
Gino kind of let the hat out of the bag. Him and I are going to be doing a weekly show starting at May for the DRF Sportsbook. Details to come. Make sure to be on the lookout for that. Also, please give my boy Gino a follow at It's Me Gino B. Him and I have a daily NBA betting show called Fast Break Bets, Monday through Friday, 5 o'clock Eastern and noon on Saturday and Sunday. Now, without further ado, I would like to welcome Josh, the founder and CEO of Sharps, to the show. Josh, how you doing today, my man?
Great. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Before we jump into the whole gambling aspect, I need to ask you a couple questions. Tell me about Sharps. What exactly is it?
Yeah, so it's a startup company. I've been working on it full time for about a year. We're based out of Detroit, Michigan, which is where I'm from. Best described as a social network for sports bettors. We connect to all the major sports books along with DFS platforms, and we allow you to not only track your bets, but we have a big emphasis on content creation and the social elements of sports betting. So you can tail bets from others with a click, and you can backfade and engage with your friends and other degens.
So how did you come up with this idea? Like, what made you, like, where did it come from?
So I practiced law for about 6 years before I started doing this, and worked with a lot of startup companies. And I found the best ones are ones that identified an actual problem and tried to solve it. So for me, the problem I identified in the betting space, and as someone who's been betting pretty much my entire adult life, I felt like there was a lack of transparency in social media when it came to sports betting. Felt like there were a lot of scammers out there, and there weren't enough social tools being provided by legacy social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Discord channels, etc. For this growing legal online sports betting market. So I felt like there had to be a better way, something more transparent with better tools for the sports betting community. And that's what we built with Sharps and what we strive to continue to build on and improve. And I've always just wanted to create a useful tool for the community. And I feel like we've done that. We've gotten great feedback. We continue to grow. And we have a nice little community that we're growing. And it's been an amazing ride so far.
Matt just asked the question, when will you be on Google Play?
Great question. I'm hoping 12 weeks, anywhere from 12 to 15 weeks. We're working on the Android version as we speak, simultaneously with a couple other big features we're about to add that we think that you guys will love. So stay tuned. If you want to sign up and be the first to know when the Android version is going to drop, you can go to our website, SHARPZ.app. That's SHARPZ.app. And there's a wait list for the Android version. If you join that wait list, I promise you will be the first to know when we release the Android version, but we're working on it as we speak.
XFL Gym, does it connect to other socials?
So we don't really connect to other socials, but you can put in your profile, your Instagram, your TikTok, your Twitter account, which is clickable to other users. So it makes it really easy for people to follow you on your other socials.
Chase chimes in, respect the Chalky Billups.
Thank you. Yeah.
So where did Chalky Billups come from? Why do you tell everyone that?
Just growing up a big Pistons fan, Chauncey Billups, one of my favorite players of all time. And it's kind of a double entendre just with the betting element of being somewhat chalky better. And I'm also obviously white. So maybe even a triple entendre.
When he hit that half court shot against the Nets, I was in the Palace. Phenomenal experience way back when. Matt chimed in. Does Sharps have live bet tracking?
Yeah, so in terms of live, I think I know what you're referring to. We don't really have live bet tracking. I think like Action provides where they'll show you a green or a red depending on what's going on. We don't have that yet. Our app is more focused on the social elements versus the tracking, to be honest. It's a solid bet tracking app. You could filter all your bets, your bet history, based on time, bet type, sport, league, whatever you want. However, our big emphasis is on the social as well as the transparency, but the social is definitely our big focus. So, that's really what we're about.
Chase, Sheed's ringworm would have been as good. Good choice with Chalky Billups. So we're here. We're going to dive in. We're each going to give one takeaway from, the opening weekend of NBA playoffs or any other takeaway from the weekend. Josh, you're the guest. I'll let you kick off. What was your big takeaway from the weekend?
Yeah, my big takeaway was just the injuries. We're in this era of load management where everyone's preparing for the playoffs, trying, to protect everyone in, bubble wrap so they could get to the playoffs and play. And look, we got Giannis getting hurt. We got Ja getting hurt. We got Sabonis getting banged up last night. We got some key injuries to some of the best players in the league. AD, people thought, oh, here we go again. He's not going to come back after he left early in the game one in Memphis. So it was just interesting to see all these players going down and with various injuries and how, uncertain things are in the NBA when you're always, a player away from going down can change the trajectory of a series significantly. Look at Miami's up 1-0 on the Bucks. I don't think any of us would have had that, especially after how they looked in the play-in tournament. And biggest surprise to me outside of that was the Clippers upsetting the Suns without Paul George. Very impressed with what they did, and Westbrook, regaining his form a little bit. Good to see. I like Russ.
Love the Sharps. Helps me track my numbers accurately. Plus, I can see old Uncle Rico's gems. Uncle Rico's kind of my moonlighter about what, and that is a long story why I'm called Uncle Rico. My takeaway is this. I hate void bets. I hate it. A player getting hurt is part of gambling. I saw void Giannis was trending on Twitter. I said it last year when this started to happen during the NFL season that this is going to open up a big book of worms by voiding bets when a player gets hurt. I think it's a risk. It's a risk in anything. You're gambling. It's called gambling for a reason. And it doesn't make sense to me. You're voiding the Giannis bets. Now, I didn't have any hero props. Why aren't you voiding the hero props? Because Hero seriously got hurt 90 seconds later. The reason they're doing that is because the Giannis was the biggest chalk bet on the board. Now, I hate to date myself, but could you imagine back in the day going to Tony from Five Dimes and just asking for a refund? He would either hang up the phone on you or totally shut down your account, not give your money, or he'd threaten you and then hang up the phone. Tony don't mess around, and that's what these sports books need to get back to, not messing around. This voided bet stuff, it's opened up a big can of worm. It's part of the game. People get hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. That's something that really stood out to me this weekend.
I couldn't agree more. I think, you a card laid is a card played, and it can also be used against bettors in certain circumstances, right? Like you've seen it, it's becoming more, I don't want to say more frequent, but I've seen more situations where, there'll be a situation where a player gets hurt or something happens and the sports book voids, the bet, and the entire, same game parlay is voided because, one leg of it, was voided by the sports book based on some obscure rule that no one pays attention to that's in the fine print. Like I think it's a mess. But yeah, I'm against the whole void culture. Look, injuries are part of the game.
Chase chimes in. I'm on the Clippers +8 tonight. Interesting comment here. They're still mad from when everyone cashed the Draymond under on that fake start last year. That's a good point. From
exactly
Wizzo,
where my mind went.
45. Don't whine about when your player get. Yep. I mean, cry in the shower like a damn man.
Love that.
But yeah, that's just something that irritates me. Part of the game. Now let's move on to the future aspect of the show. I know I'm gonna love the future. You got to cook it, my friend.
So many bad futures bets just chilling in my Sharps history right now. If you want to go look at them. And by the way, I do not market myself as a sharp bettor. I'm a betting enthusiast. I love betting, and I do it mostly for entertainment. Now that's part of my job. I bet almost every day, which I wouldn't be doing if I was actually trying to make money. And a lot of people think betting professionally is a glamorous lifestyle. It's really not. There's a lot of math involved. It was never my strong suit. So just keep that in mind whenever I give some picks. But, I have a first round series future that I actually like. I've got the Suns, the Knicks, the Kings at +215, and the Sixers to all win their series parlayed at plus 1,078, which I feel decent about, right? Like, hopefully the Suns can get it together, but I think the Kings are going to take care of business, and I also think the Knicks will pull through in their series. Sixers, obviously, I think will take care of business as well. And then I'm a big futures guy. I have a couple in there that of my most embarrassing, Tottenham to win the Premier League. Full disclosure, I am a Tottenham supporter, so that's why that's in there. I should have taken like the $2 cash out I had on my $200 bet when I had the chance, but did not. And then I had Maxey for MIP that I've had to stare at all season in my Sharps account. And, after he got hurt, he kind of bowed out of that, but great player.
My future bet. And I like the Nuggets. I gave the Nuggets out way back when. I'm trying at the beginning of the season, I believe at 20-1 to win it all. And I'm going to give out +200 that the series ends in game 5. Timberwolves, they have some good matchups with the Nuggets. They just need to use those to the advantage. And I think that's going to happen in game 3 when they go back. then Malone's going to adjust. And then we've seen from the Timberwolves, anytime they get punched, they just kind of quiver up. There's no fight in this team. There's a lot of locker room issues with Rudy Gobert. I think this is going 5, then it's 1, 2, 3 Cancun for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Bobby chimes in. Last week, the future I gave out was Kings plus 255 to win the to beat the Warriors in the series. Do we hedge the Kings' future from last week? I looked at that this morning. It was plus 145, plus 145. I'm not hedging that. I am definitely letting that ride, but that is a good question. We got another one from NAA86. Can the Bucks make it out of the first round without Giannis?
I think they can. Only because for me personally, I think losing Hero is you can make the argument it's a bigger loss for the Heat than losing Giannis. Just kidding. But losing Hero, we know he's out for the series. It's a serious loss for the Heat. And I think Giannis is going to find his way back out there. If he doesn't, I don't know. I think Giannis is going to play at some point, so I'm not too worried about it. But I'm not touching that series.
This is going to shock people, I think, and it's going to sound crazy coming out of my mouth. With Giannis, I think the Bucks have 4 top 35 players in the league. I mean, Holiday's playing at a good level. You got Middleton. And with how good Lopez has been playing defensively, I think it's getting overlooked. I think they just have a little bit too much. Shot quality graded that game as a win. Believe it or not, they're due for some shot regressions. They shot putrid from 3, and the Heat don't shoot that well from 3. I think they're going to see some positive shot regression for the Milwaukee Bucks. Chase, how many games does the Knicks-Cavs series go? I think I said it before, I think my pregame, my pre-flop was Knicks in 7 or Cavs in 4, one of the two. After watching the first 2 games, I'm going Knicks in 6.
I like the Knicks in 6 as well. I think the Knicks will win the series. 6 sounds like a good number. I mean, the Cavs are a good team. I really like Mitchell, and ultimately, I just think the Knicks will pull through. If it has to go back to Cleveland, I think that's going to be tough. But give me the Knicks in 6. I like that.
Old man Danny Green played 19 minutes. I just feel like with Green, Osman, LeVert, those are your 3 key bench players you have rolling out there. You have 0 chance. I mean, maybe that's just me, but I just don't trust those 3 guys. I think the Cavs' depth is eventually going to wear up on them. Bow down to the Kings of Boston. Celtics are taking the title this season. Suckers, what do you think of that?
It's opened up for them. I mean, look, Giannis banged up. It seems like the path is there, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics came out of the East. I really wouldn't. I'm personally, I have some futures invested in Philly, so I'd like to see the Sixers, be the ones that emerge. But it seems like it's opening up well for Boston.
The path for the Celtics looks great. With Morant and Giannis getting hurt on charges, do you think the NBA makes them illegal?
No. You can only protect the players so much. The charge is part of the game. You can make the argument whether or not, it's called correctly or incorrectly, but ultimately, you can't take away the charge completely or make them illegal,
Brandon, I know it's hard to talk about it, but if you had to bet right now, do my boys get the banner this year? I'm going to say no. I think one of the things that's kind of getting just completely overlooked at the first week of this playoffs was how good the Nuggets looked. You know what I mean? Maybe it's because the NBA put them on at 10:30 p.m. on a Sunday night. Nobody watched it. I think they looked flipping phenomenal. And no one is really talking about it. Gino's Lakers are going down tomorrow, market down. What do you think about that? Do you think the Lakers, Grizzlies, do you have any play in that game?
I haven't touched it yet. I was surprised to see the spread at last I checked was Grizzlies only plus 1.5 with Ja still up in the air. I mean, that tells me Ja's probably going to play, but his abilities may be limited. So we'll see. I like the Grizzlies in that series to begin with. I don't have any faith in the Lakers, to be honest. I mean, doubting LeBron is a fool's errand, but I really think the Grizzlies are a better team overall when healthy. Where Ja is at mentally and physically remains to be seen, but I'm not counting them out of the series yet.
Nice hit on those unders. Thank you. I hate the Lakers 99. I think I prefer Danny Brown. He spits bars. Chase chiming in again. Bobby Porter, big time Bob, big game Bob. So I think that's it for the comments right now. Let's look into the bets. Anyone watching, how many bets you want to chime in? I know Chase is on the Clippers +8 tonight, who are currently up by 2 against the Suns. 4 minutes left in the first. Josh, what is the first bet you're looking at, my man?
I already started on tomorrow. I took a bunch of Donovan Mitchell overs tonight like an idiot, and those obviously did not do well. But Man City +140 on the money line in regular time. I just put some money on it. The reason being, Bayern is having serious issues. They just hired this guy Tuchel to be their coach. He was with Chelsea. He couldn't beat Man City when he was with Chelsea. I thought it was a strange move. They kind of ousted their coach for this guy who, I don't think there was a lot of demand for him, to be honest. He failed at Chelsea, and now they're having a lot of infighting in their locker room. One of their better players, Sane, allegedly punched another player, and there was blood drawn, and they just have a lot of chaos going on. So while Man City is up 3-0 and, might be relaxed going into Munich, I really do like them to go in there and win. I think they're the best, playing like the best team in the world right now at the right time. They may not, wind up winning the Premier League, but they look like the best team in the world. So I think, Man City plus money tomorrow, I think they can get it done and actually pull out a W.
Hanlon is a beast. Chase, cash that Cavs -5.5 was a big time sweat for you, my man. That was a big time sweat earlier with that Cavs -5.5. My first bet. Now this is hinging on Ja not playing. This bet is on Ja not playing. Dylan Brooks over 14.5 points. Wojo tweeted out it doesn't look promising for Ja to play tomorrow, so I'm going with the fact that he's not going to be playing. We saw it last year when Morant went down. Brooks thinks this is his team. He's just going one-on-one. It's not Bane. For whatever reason, it is Dylan Brooks. In the 2 games against the Warriors that Morant didn't play, he put up 41 shot attempts in those 2 games. He's going to be chucking from all over the court. So if Ja doesn't go tomorrow, I'm going to be on Dylan Brooks over 14.5. Let's make money 69. Grizzlies to get swept +400. Now you think they get a game?
Yeah, I mean, I just said I'm not rating off the Grizzlies yet until we hear more about what's going on with Ja. I think with Ja, they're still a better team than the Lakers. I think we had one game, Ja got banged up. Let's see what happens. The Grizzlies, I think they still have some fight in them. We'll see. And I like your play on Brooks, though. He certainly talks like he's the man. So without Ja, let's see if he can step up and score 15 points.
So someone chimed in during the live stream, like as I mentioned earlier, Gino and I do an NBA show. We do it live over the weekends, and someone chimed in, who's a bigger flopper, Brooks, Harden, or Embiid? Who you got?
Honestly, I think Harden is the king of the flop. He's made almost more out of his career from flopping and just getting to the free throw line in general than I think anyone in NBA history. So I'm going to go with Harden. But, Brooks, he's getting up there. And, he's making a run.
Josh, bet number 2.
So I wanted to throw this out there. It's a future. It could have went to the future segment as well, but you're wearing the right hat for it. The Detroit Lions plus 130. Get it in before the draft. Coming up. What are we? 8 days out from the draft. Let's go. Before the draft, before the Lions absolutely crush the draft, you want to get this at plus 130 to win the NFC North. The last time the Lions won their division, it wasn't even called the NFC North. It was the NFC Central. They're one of the most pathetic, trash franchises in all of sports, arguably the worst. However, they are due. This is the year they win the division. I believe they also win a home playoff game. So get the Lions plus 130, hammer it. And this is going to be a good cathartic season for us tortured Lions fans.
If they get Will Anderson, I will do a backflip on a stream. I think that would be a home run. My scenario is him one or Jalen Carter. That's who I want. And then if those two aren't there, take one of the cornerbacks, whoever they have the highest. Who is your dream pick for a Lions at that 6th spot?
I think Will Anderson, I think he's the best defensive player, and he doesn't come with the baggage that Carter does. I won't be disappointed with Tyree. The edge from Texas Tech. I think that him paired with Aiden Hutchinson could be dynamic. He's extremely athletic and long and can go sideline to sideline, whereas Hutch is a little more of a mauler and can move inside and whatnot. So I honestly think you can't go wrong with either of those two players. I'd be happy with Carter. People think he's the best player in the draft. The off-the-field stuff concerns me. The combine concerns me. But I do have faith in the regime for once, and I think that Brad Holmes and company are going to make the right choice. So that's a rare feeling in Detroit.
It's a rare feeling, and it's a good feeling, especially after all the stuff with oh my God, who's that guy? Quinn.
Oh, Bob Quinn, terrible. Yep.
So it's just so much better knowing that there's a competent man in charge. Got to miss Matt Millen with a wide receiver rich draft class. That's actually a pretty good one. My second bet, going back to the association, I'm going Drew Holiday over in threes. It was 2.5 last game. I'm guessing it's going to be 2.5 again because he didn't go over the total. 2-9 last game. And with the way the Heat play defense, they give out a lot of open looks. They're content having you shoot threes. The Bucks shot threes, I believe, at the top 5 rate in the league. The Heat gave up the second most threes per game to opposing point guards. And if Giannis doesn't play, I think this is going to lead to more shots for Holiday. If he does play, it's going to lead to more open looks for him. During the regular season, he hit this total 3 out of 4 games. Like I said, I figure it's going to be 2.5. I'm going to go over the 2.5. He was 2-9 last game. I'm going to be on Drew Holiday over 2.5 threes.
And if Giannis doesn't go, I mean, the scoring's got to be picked up amongst the other Bucks, right? So, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Josh, what is play number 3, my friend?
So I got one going right now. I mean, it's perfect timing because you can hop on it live. VGK, the Golden Knights at home, game 1, fade Canada. They've already came out to a terrible start between Toronto and Edmonton. So Winnipeg, I think, is eager to join the party. It's 0-0. It's the first intermission. I would hop on Vegas live. I took them pregame, but I think it's just as good right now. I haven't checked the odds exactly, but give me the Golden Knights. Do it for America, and let's really kick Canada while they're down.
Chase, Embiid is the king of the air hump. Bobby chimes in, Embiid sucks. Remember the time you saw him at the club with his jersey on? True story. I saw Joel Embiid when he first started playing in Philadelphia at a nightclub in Philly, and he was rocking his own jersey.
That's wild. But why all the Embiid hating here? I don't understand. I think he's one of the best players I've ever seen when healthy. He's like the most unique Hakeem Olajuwon-esque player we've seen in the NBA. I mean, there's only so many 7-footers that can do what he does. And I think he's great, and I'm rooting for him. I would love to see him get to a finals.
I'm not an Embiid guy. I'm just being straight up with you. My issue with Embiid is I'm not the look at me, the 3 years in a row saying I need to win the MVP. You know what I mean? Like that whole thing to me, like just kind of turned him off to me. Plus, I really think the thing that made like LeBron great, and we're starting to see Giannis, if he wins another title, get to that level, is when they're at like 24, 25, we kind of saw them take training off the court seriously. We see like LeBron, how many times does LeBron get knocked down and yet somehow he comes back? Flashback to Giannis when it looked like he tore his ACL, missed one game, led him to the playoffs, scored. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
just doing the work, I just don't see from there. And that's kind of like I was talking about the other day. That's kind of the phase where Luka's at right now. I really think like these next 2 years are really going to shape Luka's career if he's going to take that next step up. My last bet, I'm going to former Piston great Luke Kennard. I'm going to take his over in threes and probably points. The Grizzlies were plus 11 with him on the floor. I expect him to get more playing time with Ja Morant being out more than likely. Like I said, there's no player props for him. He shot 54% from three since coming to Memphis. I think he's going to get some open look. And the key stat to remember is the Lakers give up the 9th most threes per game. So they're going to get some open looks. Jim, am I a bad person for wanting chaos in Sacramento? Like the Malice in the Palace type situation. There's been a lot of stuff going on. Like E40 got kicked out. There was some stuff going on at the end of the game with Draymond going in. It was kind of like a real weird, uneasy, cringeworthy situation watching on TV, I thought.
Light the beams. Well, Sacramento hasn't hosted a playoff game since, I think, what was it, 2004, 2006, something like that. It was the longest streak. So, the fans are definitely excited. And, Draymond's going to be Draymond. And look, honestly, I'm a Draymond fan, full disclosure. But I do think he can, cross the line a little bit and, really do some things where it's, inappropriate, whatever. But last night, I mean, look, he had an argument. Sabonis was holding on to his foot. He was trying to free his foot. It didn't look like a malicious stop to me, but it is getting very testy in that series. One other thing I wanted to bring up really quickly is the late starts for these games. We have a 10 o'clock and a 10:30 tip. The NBA is not doing anyone any favors with these late tips. As someone who's on East Coast time, I know you're on Central, which makes it a little more palatable. But it's really not doing a service to NBA fans, because I know for a first round series, I don't care how much money I have on the Nuggets or whoever, I'm not staying up past midnight to watch these games. I'm too old for that.
I hate the Lakers chimes in. At XFL Jim, Lakers over the Kings in 4, mark it down. Matt chimes in. Radone grabbed a fan the other day as well because he called him a bitch. It's kind of weird. Like where I am in Chicagoland area, it's easier for me to go up to the Bucks than it is for me to go down the United Center. And you just hear some of the stuff that these people say, and it is like utterly remarkable. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just don't get it, my man. I just don't get it at all. Chase, how many laser pointers did the rubber man? Jeez, dude. But no, that King series has been a great series. Josh, I would like to thank you for coming on. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find Sharps on social media?
Yep. We're at SHARPZ.app on Twitter and at SHARPZ.app on Instagram. Find us in the App Store, coming soon to Google Play. Sharps, find all my mediocre bets on there, find some beautiful plays from Erik on there, and we have some other sharp bettors, and just get your friends on. It's a great platform, and we'd love to have you in our community. And thanks for having me on. It was great. I'd love to be back on soon. This is I love talking bets with you, and this was great.
Definitely. Stay on. We'll talk a little bit after the show. come up with a plan. I'd like to thank everyone for coming on. Make sure to tune in next week. Sterling from Silver Star Sports, him and I are going to talk some NFL draft, and we're going to talk some NBA. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next week.